Here we are, another week of Behind the Lens. The end of March already. Can you believe it?
I can't believe it. I'm a little bit of a Debbie Downer because the TCM Classic Film Fest is over. So you're really cheery right now. I'm a little bit, there's a slight malaise that's been going, wafting through these studios, and it's hit me already.
Well, and it's funny because a lot of the TCM Fest goers last night were posting on Facebook and saying, oh, this is so sad. And everyone's like, yeah, it generally, after the high of this festival, the depression sets in for 4 or 5 days.
It's the temporary end of a love affair, a cinematic love affair.
And that's exactly what it is. It's a cinematic love affair.
Yeah.
And with everybody bonding through this collective cinematic experience where the past meets the present. Yeah. And it's a timeless meld, and it's beautiful. For those of you just joining us, this is Behind the Lens. It is Monday, March 30th. My partner in film is back. Greg is back this week.
Yes.
We've got a big show today. TCM social producer Kellee Pratt will be joining us again this week to help us in our TCM wrap. Kellee will be calling in 11:15 along with her partner in film, Aurora, Citizen Screen, and they were out and about mingling with the fans.
It's a very good name, by the way, Citizen Screen.
Isn't that great?
Very noir-esque.
And when you go to Aurora's site, Aurora's Gin Joint, or Once Upon a Screen, that's exactly the sense that you get. So Aurora will be really happy to hear you say that. At 11:30, dear friend, wonderful director Mo Perkins is going to call in and talk about the last time you had fun. This was another one of my must-see festival films at LAFF for 2014. Got a distribution deal. Less than a year later, is hitting theaters and digital VOD next Friday.
Yeah.
So, or this Friday. Yeah, this Friday. I don't know. We'll double-check the date with Mo.
Well, I'm sure it's great. You championed a film a year ago, and you see its development over the 12 months, and then finally to that day and date when it gets that distribution. It's a good day.
Yeah, and especially because coming out of LAFF 2014, a lot of these films, Supremacy, Trouble Dolls, which became Apartment Troubles, Man from Reno, The Last Time You Had Fun, I saw them before they even hit the fest.
Yeah.
So to really get to go on this journey, and Mo and I have been on this journey before with her first film, A Quiet Little Marriage. Dave Boyle and I have journeyed through all of his films from the very first one. Jess Weixler and I have known each other for the better part of a decade now since her first feature film as an actress, Teeth. So, I mean, for me, this is, to see this, it's like, I'm there watching the egg hatch with them, and it's really fantastic.
You know what's great is you champion indie filmmakers and filmmaking and actors, and also the TCM Classic Film Fest. What about the big monolithic studios? Do you champion those as well?
Do I champion Disney?
Oh,
Hello?
Disney.
Ask Don Hall, ask Chris Williams, ask Roy Conley, ask Pete Docter. I think they'll all say.
The Doctor's amazing. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I'm going to be seeing him tomorrow because I head up to Pixar for 2 days.
Bit jealous. That's awesome.
To get some sneak peeks on what's coming with Inside Out.
It's a rough day hanging out at Pixar. That must be a rough day for you.
I don't know. This will be my first trip to Pixar.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I've already seen early renderings from Inside Out and of the short that will precede it, Lava, which, as cute as I thought Frozen Fever was this year with the snow glees opening in front of Cinderella, I got to tell you, Lava, next year's best animated short film.
Okay.
So I can't wait the next 2 days. So next Monday, we're going to have some Pixar stuff to talk about, too.
Nice.
So, but first, and then today, I promised you last week, Seymour Bernstein, an introduction.
Yes.
We ran out of time. So we will have those clips today because Seymour is an absolute love. Ethan Hawke did an amazing job with the documentary.
A Teacher in Life.
A Teacher in Life, and how art and life are essentially interwoven, melodic components of the same element.
You know that phrase, happy life, happy wife? Do you believe happiness in art also can lead into happiness in life?
I don't know about happiness, but I think understanding and betterment, that they are codependent upon each other.
Okay.
That art, it provides the melody and the lyricism of life and vice versa, and the disciplines of each fuel the other. And you really cannot have one without the other.
Okay, yeah.
In a life. And then, of course, my friend Todd Lieberman. Going to hear some clips from him, my exclusive with him, talking about Insurgent, Breaking the Glass Ceiling, and moving locations shooting to one of the favorites of films lately, Georgia. And how that helped the surge of the film, pardon the pun. But first, we'll start talking about TCM before the girls join us.
Okay. Wait, so you saw 1776. That was the only film you saw during the fest because you're just so busy.
And then I ran in and out, dashed in and out of others.
Okay.
I saw bits and pieces, but the only one I sat through beginning to end because of running to see, listen to Shirley MacLaine in the intimate Club TCM setting, which there will be a feature on that on my website, hopefully this afternoon. She is a hoot and a holler and and a brilliant woman, and gave a really in-depth discussion on marketing, distribution, and the problems with it today when viewed in the context of one of her most recent films, Elsa and Fred, with Christopher Plummer, which is an absolute gem. And anyone that hasn't seen it needs to see it. And she has another film coming out with Meryl Streep, Wild Oats.
With later this year?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, speaking of films that I haven't seen, I had never seen Lawrence of Arabia. And yeah, of course, what's not to love about Lawrence? And I saw it at the Egyptian, and it was great because I was actually thinking maybe I should actually be more social this time because last year I didn't talk to anybody. I just saw a couple movies, got in and out, but I decided to actually talk to a couple of people and ask them while in line why do they join the TCM Classic Film Fest, what it means to them.
And of course, that's one of the great things with TCM is unlike other festivals you go to or just standing in line for things, the fans that come to the TCM Film Festival, they interact, they engage, they talk, they just are so passionate about classic film.
Yeah, because what happens is when you're waiting in line for that hour, sometimes even hour and a half before the movie starts, you just strike up a conversation. Even if you don't know a lot of the members from TCM with their club passes, you just strike up a conversation about movies you love, directors you love, stars that you admire, and then you start getting into your personal life and how that relates to your film going, and it becomes a very personal. Well, Scorsese said a personal journey through filmmaking, and that's what it is. That's what it is for me with the TCM Classic Film Fest. So. And
you have a clip from someone you spoke to.
I cut a 20-second clip, and I think he succinctly puts it why the TCM Classic Film Fest is such a special event.
I did it for the first time last year. I've been a big TCM fan for years, and you see the ads on TCM for the film festival, and I finally was like, I got to check this thing out. And I had so much fun last year. It's so much more than just the movies, it's the programming, the guest stars, and the fellow movie lovers. I mean, there's nothing like being in a big movie house watching a great movie with other people who love movies,
And I think that you're right. That does very succinctly state it, and it's that collective spirit, that community sharing, that experience, and it transports you back in time, and it makes time stand still.
And the great thing about that fest is you have so many different kind of moviegoers. You have the ones who are, no matter how much they know about Hollywood history and filmmaking, they're just always wide-eyed, and there are a couple of know-it-alls who are, if you don't know a certain movie or a certain director, but it's a great combination of people. So I had a great time.
Well, and one of the great things that TCM does during the festivals, they have some of the most engaging programs over at the Hollywood Roosevelt. And one of them that I was enthralled by was the art of the title. And we all know, everybody out there listening now that goes to the movies, what do you always comment upon? You comment upon those opening and ending credits, the titles. And Ian Albinson put together this amazing production. And actually he has an online version that you can see at theartofthetitle.com. And it goes through the history of titles from silence all the way up to now. The process of how they used to be made and the limitations that imposed on how fancy the titles can get. Right. And then as technology improved, it moved along. Eye-opening stuff on some of the most famous title designers out there, Saul Bass, Pablo Ferro, our Greenberg associates, Maurice Binder. And it was Binder who designed the very first James Bond. He is the one that came up with that iconic, the iconic circle.
So from checking that out, is even with the new technology, the advanced technology, do you think that titling now is as good as it was back in the heyday of filmmaking?
There's a very distinct difference, and I think it mirrors the kind of where the medium is today. And it's not just film, because as Ian very succinctly and accurately pointed out and demonstrated the other day, it's now become, everything's melded together. You cannot really tell the difference between titles of video games, which now are all into title sequencing as well, video games, TV, branding for products, TV commercials, and film. It's a very seamless look now, so everything is integrated. Everything is synergistic and essentially interchangeable. On the one hand, that's good. On the other hand, I think you lose some of the individuality when you look at some of the older titling where on glass they would paint layers of paint to get a three-dimensional effect. And when you look very closely, you can actually see that. And some of that hand craftsmanship we've lost to technology.
It just seems more vanilla maybe with that kind of seamless thing going on.
Well, but it also, with technology, it allows a lot more creativity. So that it with some films, as you know, if the film is really bad, sometimes the titles are the saving grace. Because they look so spectacular. Right. But, in addition to your man on the street perspective, I had a chance during the opening press conference. You were there, so you heard this.
You asked the first question, by the way. So,
yes,
as always.
But I wanted to engage. Yes. We had our lead programmer Charlie Tabish there. The new GM of TCM, Jennifer Dorian, her very first film festival. Genevieve McGillicuddy, who is the head of branding, vice president of something else, programming, festival. Genevieve does everything. And then, of course, Ben Mankiewicz. And I asked each of them, what does the TCM Film Fest mean to them? And this is what our pal Ben Mankiewicz had to say.
Well, I've said stuff like this before, but every year that I'm here, as I've now passed my 11th anniversary, about 11 and a half years at TCM, this becomes more and more clear. And there's no other channel on television that could do this. No one would go. And I say that as a huge fan of what's on television now. I mean, and Robert Morse is going to be here for The Loved One, and obviously I will talk to him about Mad Men. It's an amazing show. It's transformative, but I don't think that 2,000 fans are going to come together to watch old episodes of Mad Men. And it's true for, House of Cards. Charlie and I are huge sports fans who watch ESPN all the time. It's not going to happen. There is a connection here between the channel and its fans that does not exist anywhere in entertainment. It just doesn't happen, and it's felt viscerally because it connects them to their past. It connects them to sometimes a generation they don't even know. They were close to their grandfather. Maybe they never even saw a movie with their grandfather or grandmother, but they know this was the kind of movies. These were the kind of movies that their grandparents watched, and they feel connected. And so they don't just watch us, they watch over us. And that's why, tomorrow we're going to have a panel of Ask TCM, and there'll be some yelling there always is. Where, you're showing the wrong kinds of movies. You're not going to show commercials. And they feel that we have taken on this responsibility as guardians of this amazing visual art that means so much to so many people. And they know we've taken it on, and they both love us and feel the responsibility to keep us in line. And that somehow is fused a bond that I never imagined could exist, but so very clearly does exist. And this is the 4 days, also to some extent on the cruise, where we get to share that connection that exists 365 days a year.
So, as we were saying, it's that connection.
Connection, yeah.
And it's hard to believe Ben's been with the network for 11 years now.
Yeah.
Wow. But, and somebody else that I spoke with on the red carpet is part of a cinematic dynasty, Keith Carradine. And he has a unique, like Ben also has a legacy in Hollywood. Yeah. But Keith talked specifically about his, and here's what he had to say in just a moment, because our sound engineer Brian is answering the phone with, I think, Kellee and Aurora. Oh no, we're saying not them. Okay, so we're going to hear what Keith Carradine had to say about what TCM Film Festival means to him.
Nice to be here representing, dynastic representation.
How exciting is it for you to be part of the TCM Film Festival, to see that so many fans remember all the work that your entire family has done, all these generations?
Yeah, listen, as my late brother Dave once said, the old man did what he did. And those of us, David and myself, Bobby, we all stand 10 feet taller because we're on his shoulders. And so to be able to be a part of this celebration of cinema history and of cinema classics and the legacy that is, the movies, and particularly since my father was so much a part of that from the 30s, from the golden age, it's a privilege to be here and to be able to support this.
And I have to say, I also asked Keith how his brother Robert Carradine. Everybody knows Robert from Revenge of the Nerds. He was in a very bad car accident
really?
Some time ago.
Okay.
But for fans of Robert Carradine, Keith has assured me that the doctors have said he will be 100%. He's on the mend, and he will be back in full force in front of the camera soon. Cool. So that is great news to hear. And now we're going to skip a commercial because my pal Kellee is here.
Hello, and Aurora is as well.
Aurora's there too.
Hello.
Hey,
Hi,
guys. Greg's
Hi.
here. I'm fine. Greg's here too.
Hello.
Hello, hi.
So, have you survived? Have you recovered? Have you put your feet up?
No, and no. It's that wonderful depression you get the next day. You're just on a high, but then you're sorry to see everything close up.
Greg was just mentioning that earlier. He's kind of he said a Debbie Downer today because the festival is over.
Exactly. We all kind of do this post-fest blues that we go through. And interestingly, we showed up for breakfast this morning all wearing black.
Oh, my God.
We're in mourning, I tell you.
Yeah. So now I know the two of you were all over at all the venues, running like crazy. How did this inaugural social producer system work this year? Do you think it was a success? Were the fans happy?
The fans were happy. The fans were hounding us because they were thrilled about the social media buttons that many of us were, providing, passing out. Aurora and I handled the Buster Keaton buttons and posters as well. And our pal Anne Marie over at Classic Movie Hub was it Roman Holiday, I believe? Yeah, she had the Roman Holiday buttons.
And she didn't give me one? Oh, my God.
We're gonna be meeting her in a bit. I'll make sure I let her know that.
My heart's going to stop here in a moment.
I tell you what, that was probably the biggest challenge, was just getting the word out. And even when the word was out, was just letting people know where you were, because that was kind of both the fun and the challenge of it, was that, you know, you had to kind of almost like a scavenger hunt come find us as we were hopping from screening to screenings, just like they were.
Well, now I know that Nora Lill, who is head of TCM social media, I know that she'll be listening to this. Either she's listening now live, or she's going to be listening to, the archived audio and watching all the cute pictures that we're going to have on the video later this week.
Awesome.
What do you think would be a suggestion to TCM to make the social producing program more fan-friendly and accessible to the fans, the ones that aren't the diehards that are on Twitter, that are on Facebook following you guys?
Well, I'll let Aurora speak what her thoughts are. For me, I would say, just kind of getting this first year kicked off, it kind of sets a precedent for the following year. And I'm sure that Nora Lill and the good TCM folks are, they're going to, go through and check out all the metrics and info to figure that out as well. But I think just getting the word out was kind of the biggest challenge at first, because it's brand new and just, getting the word out.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what really worked, and my suggestion is maybe expanding this a little bit. We had several instances where Kellee was asking the trivia questions online, and everyone, regardless of whether they got another button, just loved spending the time answering the trivia questions.
Did you get any idea what was the favorite trivia question that you asked?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, there were so many.
I don't know. And it's funny because I made some very easy, because I wanted everyone to feel like they were a winner. And, of course, everyone was a winner. They got a button regardless, because it was more about the fun process, the experience. Mm-hmm. And then I tried to make some really tough and obscure. As a matter of fact, some of the questions that I came up with, I found were used in the intros before films.
Oh. Well,
so that means, there were a couple of instances where no one got it, and there was this one moment that I remember that was quite funny, because I was looking over at Kelly's shoulder, looking at the question, and nobody got it, and I say, okay, I see the answer, and the gentleman very enthusiastically says, B. So that was funny.
Now, you guys also got to you went to a lot of films. I know, Aurora, you and I, we were at Shirley MacLaine yesterday, which was like I said earlier, it was a hoot and a holler.
It was. She's too much.
And she is just point blank. And one of the things I really liked is how she talked about, she's very astute about the industry and business, and talking about how marketing and publicity and distribution really is failing with a lot of the independent films now.
Yeah, I agree. I also like how honest she is all the time about her own career, her strengths, her weaknesses, compared to other actors, etc. When she was starting out. Every story was amazing. I just loved listening to her. She's so frank.
Oh, she's amazing. And you were also there for the art of the title.
I was. Yeah.
And Ian Albinson, I talked to him afterwards. Ian's going to come on the show one day.
Oh, wonderful. I love that presentation as well.
It was phenomenal. What else did you guys see, or what films did you see that just blew your mind, that you really loved?
Well, I got to say, Steamboat Bill Jr. was such a highlight for me. I mean, obviously, having Buster Keaton as my home state guy. But the way they presented it, first of all, the print was amazingly clear and crisp up on the big screen in that beautiful theater. But being Carl Davis composed and led, 18-piece orchestra, and Leonard Maltin doing the intro, that was one of the many highlights. How about you, Aurora?
My two favorites were the two that I was most looking forward to. It's an odd pair. W.C. Fields' The Bank Dick. His two grandsons were there for the intro. The movie made us all cry laughing. And then I adored The Hunchback of Notre Dame, the restoration it was a gorgeous, gorgeous print. And again, everybody left, emotionally scarred from that one. Gorgeous performance by Lawton. So those were my two favorites.
Well, I have to ask Kellee, because, I caught you yesterday as you were racing off to Gunga Din, and you were so excited about Gunga Din.
Yeah, that was another highlight for me. Gunga Din was,
Well, it is Cary Grant.
Well, first of all, it's Cary Grant, which, of course, is our favorite. But then to have the same kind of setup as they did with the Adventures of Robin Hood from last year, Ben Burt and, what's his name, Craig Barrett. Oh, I just drew a blank on his name. I'm sorry. It's the morning after here. But, the special effect, Academy Award winning special effects team, these two guys doing a marvelous job of showing, kind of behind the scenes setups, how they got the sound effects for a certain film. And so this year they did Gunga Din, and it was cool because they had like these, like almost home movie shots from behind the scenes. Plus they would show where they set up sets, and they would show pictures of what it looks like today side by side of what it looked like back then, and even how they got certain, sound effects with the bugle and how different it looks when they try to do it. It was hilarious. They are just so funny.
Is one of the big reasons you guys love going to the TCM Classic Film Fest is just meeting new people and hearing their stories and their own relationships with certain films and how it affects their lives, and then in general just meeting new friends each and every year?
I can't agree with that more.
It's the highlight. It's the highlight. Meeting up with people that we've become friends with. We see them once a year, and we know them only on social media, and yet we forged real relationships, real friendships from this. It's the beyond sound. It's just the best part of the festival.
Definitely.
Well, and I think the three of us are a perfect example because we've known each other on social media forever, and we finally got to hook up in real life.
And that, honestly, those moments of when you finally get to meet, like when I finally got to see you, Debbie, the moment I bumped into you here at the fest, I mean, I'm sure you could feel my enthusiasm as I gave you that enormous hug.
I know.
So sincere. Like, I was so excited to see you.
Yeah, and that's one of the great. It's like our friend John Melville, who comes over from Edinburgh to cover the festival for his outlets there. John couldn't make it last year, but he made it this year, and we all love seeing John when he comes.
Yes, I met him as well. What a nice guy, and I love that accent of his.
I know. We should put him in front of a camera.
I agree.
Agree.
Is there anything that you didn't get to see that you wish you could have seen?
Oh, I have one that I'm regretting not going to the Dream Machine presentation. I really, really wanted to go to that, but we ran out of steam. We came here to the Roosevelt to take a little bit of a break instead, and I regret that decision.
And what about you, Kel?
Oh, I definitely got to agree with that one. Honestly, there were so many. We wanted to see Reign of Terror, but we didn't make that. And even though it made it to the TBA list on Sunday, it was still a conflict. There's only so many ways you can clone yourself and try to make every one. But on the positive side of that, it means that when there's so many tough choices to make, no matter what you go with, you walk away happy and thrilled.
Mm-hmm. That's absolutely true. We made a last-minute decision yesterday to go to the Philadelphia story. A film we've seen 150 times, and yet it was...
But it's Cary Grant on the great big screen.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking, not choosing that in the first place. I mean, it was just fabulous. We had such a fun time. The group that assembled to see it was great. It was just a wonderful, wonderful way to spend a Sunday afternoon. Absolutely.
Yeah. And, the Philadelphia story, the house that was the Lord House, it was filmed right up the street from me on MGM on what was Lot 2.
Wow.
Well, my house in LA actually sits on what used to be Lot 5 of MGM.
No kidding.
No kidding.
That's cool history right there.
My dry cleaner sits on top of what used to be the stable for the animals. Now I don't know what that's telling us, but
Well, I hope you know how lucky that is. That's very cool because, as you know, several of us, and besides Aurora and I, we come from all over to be in this, sacred hollow grounds of Hollywood.
And I think it truly is. And the fact that TCM keeps the festival in Hollywood is based at the Roosevelt Hotel, which is just, you feel the history when you walk in the door.
Yeah,
exactly.
I agree.
Now, when do you guys leave the happy Hollywood grounds?
We leave tomorrow morning. I leave at about noon, and I think Kellee leaves a bit earlier than that.
Crack of dawn or something. It's like 6:30 a.m. I got to hit the shuttle.
Who knows? I may run into you at the airport as I'm heading off to Pixar tomorrow.
Oh, Pixar, huh?
So, I get the best of both worlds. I get the classic films, and I get the new films, and then all the junk in between.
Okay. Can we live your life just like a week and just kind of walk around in your shoes?
Yeah.
Yes. Anytime you want, you may. You can put up with all the headaches. You can put up with all the publishers. You can put up with Greg here.
Yeah. I hope you guys are at least going to Musso and Frank's, or got the chance to this trip.
Well, last year we got some chicken pot pie there. That's pretty memorable.
Nice.
Yeah, I went twice this visit, so I'm good. and I saw the Chaplin booth, which was a thrill.
Oh, wow.
Well, they were closed yesterday, so I was actually over at Maselli's. There was not a person in. The place was packed. It was full. There was a waiting list of people to get a table. Every person in there had on a TCM badge.
And we're talking about maybe going there tonight as well. But I got to tell you, when you're talking about the TCM badge, it is such an amazing, fun community of folks. When you see those badges as you walk through a diner or the Roosevelt or whatever, there is this automatic kinship where you're amongst family. It's amazing.
Yeah, and you're never at a loss for words.
Yeah. No, I sat down and people were right next to me and they're saying, oh, well, what did you just come from? And, oh, what are you going to see next? And at the next table over, they were talking about what they had just seen. And then somebody else was talking about, they couldn't get into the Montalban to see Sophia Loren and her son Eduardo Ponti do a Q&A with her, but they were going over to the Chinese to see her there as the last screening of the night. So, yeah, you're absolutely right when you say that.
Yeah.
Everyone kept saying when, whether it's, you'd see these people that you either know through a TCM party or, through the virtual world of Facebook or whatever, and you get to see them at this one time of year, and it does feel exactly like a family reunion.
So now I know you guys are going to be writing stuff up. You're going to be posting pictures on your blogs and all of that. So give us it. Now, Lydia will have it up on the video so everybody can see it, so they can't make typos, but give us your websites, your blogs, so people can find you.
Okay, I'm on my blog is Once Upon a Screen. The URL is aurorasginjoint.com.
Nice.
And I'm Citizen Screen across all media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, etc.
And, of course, people already know little Irish Jayhawk 66.
Yes, and then my blog is Outspoken and Freckled for obvious reasons, and that is found under my name of KelleePratt.com, and Kellee with 2 E's at the end, just to be difficult. And then what I want to do is get the full list of social producers to you, because I tell you what, there were some amazing people in our group of social producers.
Yeah, I second that. They really, really did an outstanding job.
And I will get it on air. I will get it on my website. I know Greg will have the information. And we will just be networking TCM like crazy.
We appreciate it.
All right, ladies, I'm going to let you go. It has been an absolute joy.
Hope to meet you next year.
Yes, I hope so. Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, thanks, guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Bye. And that was Kellee Pratt and Aurora, Citizen Screen, doing our final wrap-up of TCM. We're going to do a tiny short break. We have Mo Perkins on the line. We'll take a break, and we'll come right back, and we'll have Mo with us to talk The Last Time You Had Fun. Behind the Lens is sponsored in part by the Culver City Observer. Located in the heart of Screenland, Culver City Observer is available in print and online at www.culvercityobserver.com. And welcome back to Behind the Lens. And I have the wonderful Mo Perkins on the line. Hey, Mo.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Oh my God, this is just too fun. I'm here. Greg is here with me, my trusty cinematic sidekick.
Hello.
Oh, hi, Greg.
And this is I love this movie, and it's a very appropriate title. The Last Time You Had Fun, as we were all just talking and recapping the TCM Classic Film Festival, which is a riot and tons of fun for everybody.
I see. You're breaking up a little bit, but you were at the TCM Classic Film Festival.
Yes, and so it's very appropriate that your film is entitled The Last Time You Had Fun. And,
I see.
And because we just had a whole lot of fun, but
good.
But trust me, anybody that sees your film is going to have a whole lot of fun too. How exciting is it for you, Mo? The film just premiered last year at LA Film Festival. Not even a year later, you've got distribution. You're going to be in theaters next week. You've got next Friday, correct? The 6th?
The 7th.
7th, okay.
VOD, on demand, all over the place, it's super exciting for me. I just feel really grateful to have this tiny film floating out into the world.
And
it's super exciting.
This tiny film, it's a whole lot of fun going on in this tiny film.
Yeah, maybe I'm downplaying it too much. It's not tiny. We have some great names in it, and everybody. I think it came together really lovely. We're super proud of it. It's not tiny, but it is a smaller film, and it's harder to get smaller films out into the world. So I'm really excited to see this one making its way.
And this one is so different from your first film, A Quiet Little Marriage, which was quiet. There was inherent humor, but it was a subtler look. Of course, Eric Zimmerman was your DP for A Quiet Little Marriage, and Eric was back for The Last Time You Had Fun. But looking at the two films, as different as night and day with your visual palette, you can, and it really shows with your editing, your story, your growth as a director. And I am just so thrilled.
Oh, that's so nice to hear. I mean, that's what you want to hear, is that each one you're getting better at creating what it is that you're hoping to do. And I think thematically you can feel that they're from the same place, but hopefully everyone is better. Otherwise, what are you doing?
And of course, your darling husband wrote the script for this one.
Yeah, I know.
Uh-oh. I hear inflection.
It's great. I felt like the script was just a gift, but we get riled a lot because it's about marriages in trouble, and here we are, a married couple working together. But maybe that's how I don't know. It just works. So
you work out the trouble on paper.
Say again?
You work out the trouble on paper so that it doesn't affect the marriage.
We like all our drama on screen. That's just how we are. As people, we're very quiet. His dialogue is hilarious. He writes these incredible, kind of fantastic scenarios, and he's the quietest, shyest guy. So we just all our drama goes up on screen.
Mo, when you're mounting an indie project, what's the main challenge for you as a director to get financing for the film? What are the steps that you need to take to actually start with the pre-production and the production?
I wish that there was a better way to articulate how projects come together. I was reading someone was saying that it's like amnesia after it all comes together, because you work really long and hard, you have this kind of dream, and then it's like a treasure hunt. You kind of go out and start building pieces, and one piece brings the other, and then when it finally comes together, it's like a flood. But it's hard. It's hard to go back and retrace which piece opened the possibility of actually getting the thing made. Does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
It's just not, there's not like an office you go apply to with your little business packet and say, please, may I have the money to make this? It's tiny little things bring other things, and you just have to be open to the possibility of the way that each individual project is going to get made.
And now, was it any benefit at all to you in trying to get the last time you had fun made that you had already done Quiet Little Marriage and you had that distribution under your belt?
Absolutely. I mean, just even, my favorite, we've talked before, Debbie, and my favorite thing is the actors, and just there's a legitimacy to having brought a project from the ground up and seen it all the way out to distribution, and then also having that feature film to show actors when you are wooing them into your next project. All of that became a little bit easier.
And of course, you wooed some of your same actors back for this project.
I don't know if you can tell, but when I find somebody I like to work with, I just like to work with them, like Eric. When something works, do it again. It just gets deeper and better. So, of course.
So you brought Mary Elizabeth is back.
Mary Elizabeth is back. Jimmy's back. Jimmy Simpson is amazing.
As Jake, and he's hilarious.
He's hilarious, and he's a gift. He's both hilarious and really poignant. So you're laughing and crying at the same time, which is an odd but kind of wonderful sensation from Jimmy. Or maybe that's just me. I don't know. But yeah, he was a gift.
No, Jimmy, you really don't know whether to laugh or cry at some of the stuff he does.
Yeah, I know, which is hard. And it takes a lot of talent to really ride that edge, and he does it so well.
And, I'm playing right off of Jimmy is Kyle Bornheimer as the character of Clark, who I like to call Mr. Sweaty Pants.
Clark. There was something in the news about sweatpants this week, and I just couldn't help laughing because
oh my God,
that's his thing. He wants to be comfortable. He's given up on a lot of stuff, but not comfort. But Kyle was wonderful,
and he and Jimmy just fuel each other.
I know.
They're like oil and water that end up with this hilarious mix.
Yeah, that scene, I don't want to give it away, but I hope people enjoy it because it was a lot of fun to create, and it was a little bit of crazy getting it all together, but I'm really proud of it, and it definitely gets a response. Sitting in a theater with an audience, you can feel the impact of that scene. It's unexpected in a good way, I think.
Well, was directing always in the cards for you, even at an early age? Were you directing shorts as a child, or is it a process and a craft that you took on later in life?
I love that you say as a child, because those tools were not available to me as a child. I consider myself still young, but we didn't have that kind of camera happening. Yeah. But I have a 5-year-old now, and she is picking up the iPhone and trying to direct me, so that's pretty funny. But yes, storytelling was always in the cards for me, and I don't think I recognized that it was a passion until I hit college. I don't think I understood that directing was a job you could have. It was just something that I played around with. And then when I realized that it was a place you could actually spend your life, I don't know, it was a romance. Yeah, it was on. There hasn't been anything else.
Now, as I mentioned, one of the great things is visually and tonally the difference between A Quiet Little Marriage and The Last Time You Had Fun. And working with Eric Zimmerman, how did the two of you go about designing the visual palette? Because so much of this film takes place in a limousine. You're using rich colors, saturated colors, neon colors, a lot of blues, purples, reds, immersed in blacks. something we didn't see in your earlier films. So you've got this whole new look coming. So how did the two of you go about approaching this visual tonal design?
Well, every story has its own kind of design around the intention, the meaning behind it. So with this film, you have 4 people who are they're popped out of their normal lives for an evening, and I really wanted to create the sense that there was this magical bubble created around them, and that they could do things that in their day-to-day lives they wouldn't allow themselves to do. So we talked about creating a visual style that enclosed them together, the 4 of them, having these rich blacks, having kind of little glowy lights in the background, but creating a separation from the world, not just physically within the limo, but within frames and how you kind of place them and what you did with the light, creating this kind of magical night that encloses them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, the look, and we talked about this last June, at how stunning and beautiful it is, and it just draws, as you're watching the film, we are drawn into this little microcosm of retro fun that our two couples are trying to have.
I mean, that's Eric. Eric is just genius. And speaking of retro, he brought these ancient prime lenses that I don't even know where he got. That you had to. It's his game, and he really pulled it off in such a beautiful way. I have to say it's to him that it looks that beautiful.
What was the most challenging aspect of this film? You've got the one under your belt. Now you've got this one. You're growing as a director. You're growing as a storyteller. What was the most challenging aspect of bringing this one to life?
Let's see. I mean, it didn't. I don't know that it just kind of overtakes me. I don't know that it was necessarily a challenge. It was a marathon, which I think you hear from most indie directors because we tend to shoot them really fast. But it didn't feel like a challenge because it was such a joy. You work so hard to get to the shoot that once you're there, you just have to enjoy it. So I guess it was a challenge in that it was a lot of night shoots and a kind of a dead run. We didn't have a very hefty shooting schedule, and we had a lot to pack in. But I guess the challenging part was that you just wanted to do it more and for longer, but then you couldn't feel like you were being cheated because it was such a gift to be there anyway. Is that weird? I don't know. It's like, yay, torture.
No, knowing you, Mo, I know it's from your heart.
Yeah, no, it really is. We had some nights. Like there's a scene where they all kind of jump in the Pacific Ocean. Mm-hmm. And that's a challenge for me because I'm a very protective director, and I really want it. Safety is huge, and also comfort. And I feel like actors give their best performance if they know that you have their back entirely. So things like having them strip down in their underwear and jump in the Pacific Ocean, those are challenging nights for me. But then also they end up being the funnest because you feel like you've really achieved something, and you feel that from your crew and your cast, and you walk away going, yeah, last night was amazing. Yeah, I'm rambling.
No, you can ramble all you want.
Ramble.
It's me. You're allowed,
I get excited. I haven't talked about this in a little while. I get all excited.
I know. Now, you have two really great casting coups here. I have to mention one, and I know Greg had mentioned him earlier before we went on air today, Dimitri Martin, who plays Will. We both saw him in Lake Bell's film, In a World. Dimitri is fantastic. And then Charlene Yee, who wrote Paper Heart, an adorable little indie.
Oh, I know. She's wonderful. And I I begged her to be in this. I don't know if she's even acting so much anymore. She's an amazing and talented artist and musician, and I know that she's focusing a lot of energy on that. And I was in love with Paper Heart, and I couldn't see anyone else as Betty besides Charlene Yee. I begged her.
And I mean, the way that she does deadpan and rolls her eyes is just... She needs no dialogue. She needs just stick the camera on her.
She doesn't. And you know what? You asked me if there was anything that I regret about the film. I wish I had 15 more minutes of Charlene Yee in it, because she's such a joy to work with and to watch.
So do we have 15 more minutes of her to put on a director's cut or as a DVD extra?
On a reel? Yeah. Oh, the outtakes from this movie I have to put together sometime, because as much fun as the script is, all of these people together late at night were just so goofy, and there's some wonderful outtakes. I have to pull it together.
Well, I expect to see this as DVD extras. You know that, don't you?
Okay. I'll do it.
Just a curious question. When you editing the film or sitting in that room and putting the film, your narrative together, is it almost just as fun as shooting the production, or are they just two different separate elements of filmmaking that you can't really compare?
It's an odd experience. I prefer not to be a director-editor. I actually think it's really nice when there are two separate human beings doing that job.
Yeah.
But sometimes budget constraints and schedules and make it so that it's just easier to go straight into the other one. But yeah, it's super fun, but it's weird because you're with this large group of people and you're traveling and you're making this movie, and then all of a sudden you're all alone.
Yeah.
But you're still with them, and you're watching them blink, and you're editing the minutia. But you're alone. So it's fun because it's like Christmas. You're unwrapping literally all this gift that they've given you, but you're alone. So if I have a preference, it's the part where we're creating all together. That's kind of abstract, but that's how I feel about it. So, editing is wonderful because you have the film, but making the film is the best part.
So are you making another one right now?
Hal is writing and I am writing, and we're ready to get back on it. I'm just seeing this one out into the world, which is also, my job.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm ready to go. My favorite part, if I could just go from shoot to shoot, that's what I'd love to do.
Because I know that's what you love doing, and it just killed you having, that time lag between Quiet Little Marriage and Last Time You Had Fun.
I know, but there doesn't seem to be any way around it. It just seems like you work as hard and as fast as you can, and there's got to be a couple years between projects because it takes that to get them up. So.
Well, the trick is then Hal has to start writing the next project while you're filming one project. So as soon as you finish the one, he's got a script ready to go.
I agree. I'm considering just chaining him to the computer, and I will tell him that you said so. He should definitely have it ready.
Hal has no choice. This is what he must do.
Poor Hal. Yes. Well, he also really enjoys it and really has a gift for it, so it's not torturous. It sounds bad. It's not.
So
but he should be.
I can't thank you enough, my friend. This is an absolute pleasure. You will call us back again and talk to us again about filmmaking?
Oh, yeah, anytime. Thank you for having me.
Oh, this is just so fantastic. And when you talk to Eric again, give him my best.
I will.
But I can't wait to see what you do next. So next Friday, The Last Time You Had Fun, theaters, digital, VOD.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to have fun.
Everywhere. Oh, hello?
Yes, everyone needs to have fun.
Oh. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Mo.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Okay. And that was Mo Perkins.
That was good. She wasn't so abstract. She was...
No, I love Mo. She truly... And to see, and as I said, the growth in her as a director is amazing.
I have to see the movie.
You have to see the movie. That means Karen Oberman.
Okay.
email Greg.
I'm in the mood for a comedy. So.
He's in the mood for a comedy. It needs to uplift him after
the depression of
TCM ending. So, but, and once again, we are just so chock full of stuff today. But I do want to get in one more piece of TCM. I think we'll have to hold back on Seymour Bernstein and Todd Lieberman so that Todd can wring his hands and be upset with me. But I had a chance to do a one-on-one with William Daniels. Legendary William Daniels. You younger generation, you know him as Mr. Feeney, showing up on Girl Meets World now, previously with Boy Meets World. A little scoop for you, he's been asked to come back as an annual tradition thing for another appearance on Girl Meets World, which apparently he may be doing. But in the meantime, because the whole theme about TCM Classic Films this year was history, and history through the eyes of Hollywood. But William Daniels has his own history going back to the 1940s. And we talked at length about it, but here's a brief excerpt of William Daniels and his history in getting to where Mr. Feeney that you know, playing John Adams in 1776, and Broadway film, TV, and everything in between. Because a lot of people don't realize what a fascinating history you have in entertainment.
75 years.
75 years singing. You're singing on stage.
My sister and I sung and danced to. We tapped too.
They were tappers. He was a good tapper.
When we went to audition for my mother, stage mother, took us. I guess I was maybe 7 or 8. My sister was 2 years younger, and she read in the paper that they take children on this children's show called Aurora and Mo Children's Hour, and so she took us over there, and the guy, Nick Kenny's brother, was auditioning everybody, and we started tap dancing, and he said, wait, no, this is radio. I mean, that, now if they sang, my mother grabbed back home, taught us a song, went back the next week, and we started to sing. He said, no, not in unison. I mean, if they sang in harmony, brought us back, taught me the harmony, brought us back for the 3rd time. He said, that's it.
Oh my gosh. Oh my. You're one of the few performers today who has successfully made the transition through all the media.
No, that's true.
From radio to Broadway.
I know.
Film, television.
Listen, when we were doing Horn and Harder Children's Hour at 3rd floor at NBC, Rockefeller Center, there was a Studio 3H down there that had all these lights up on top, and my sister and I were asked to go in and sing a song while they took the picture because it was for something called television. And they needed a lot of light. And you couldn't touch the microphone, it was so hot. So we got in there, we sang a song for them, and then get the hell out of there because we were wringing wet. It was a bank of, the whole ceiling was all light because they didn't know how to light it. It needed, their picture needed a lot of light at that point, And that was, we were just kids. That was the beginning of television.
And yes, it was
pretty heady stuff right there.
And we're getting our cue. We're gonna have to wrap. But and I just have to say the beginning of television. And one day we may actually pick up this at a later point. My father was at the beginning of television, and right about the same time that Bill was doing the Horn and Hard Art Children's Hour. Within a few years after that, my father was doing television in Philadelphia in 1949, 1950.
That's a story we'll pick up on, definitely.
So I know about I heard the war stories about getting all of this to work in the early days of television. So that is it. We will be back next week. Next week, Jane Clark is back with us. We're going to be talking crazy bitches. Yes, we said it once today. We're going to say it a lot next week. And also the issue of piracy. with video beyond the Expendables debacle and how it's affecting little independent films like Jane's film. So we will be here next week. We hope you will be too. Thanks.